Hello there. I'm David A. Specht, and I want to be your coach. If there's anything that I have learned in my 30 plus years of leadership and coaching, I have learned that mindset is everything. Join me and my guests as we explore the positives and negatives of that thing between our ears. This is Keep This in Mind. Good morning. Welcome to 30 Minutes of Wisdom with David and Omar and David. Omar, you outside,
How's
brother?
it going, sir?
I am jealous. I know you're not feeling this jealousy right now, but you are outside in the sun, and I got cloudy skies here, but you also have a very good reason for being outside in the sun.
Well, there's always a price to pay.
Yes.
So yeah. No, AC down, compressor. The best part about it, though, is usually it's the other way around. Usually that goes out in the summer when it's like hot and humid, but it's actually been in the 50s yeah. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Finally, luck be a lady tonight for me.
Well, I want to kind of dive in. I know your video may go in and out, and that's fine. But you asked me Tuesday. You're like, "What do you want to talk about this Thursday?" And I sent it back to you. I said, "How about this? Is your past trauma a stumbling block or a stepping stone?" And I don't pick that subject lightly because I feel like that this is something that is one of the things that holds so many people back from their potential is whatever upbringing they have, whenever, gut punch they got, it seems to always be the path backwards, right? It's always the thing that really, well, I can't because, or you don't understand because. And I kind of want to throw it your direction just a little bit, but talk about how, because you've got a story. I hate to say story full of trauma. That's not what I mean, but your story is a story of overcoming. And I believe that we make a choice with regard to trauma. We don't choose what happens to us. We choose what we do with what happens to us. So kind of break it down for me a little bit in your story.
Of course. The problem is everybody loves this playing victim mentality because it gives us an excuse to be on the sidelines. It gives us an excuse to not be able to start, or wanting people to give us a cyber hug, to maybe give us a little dopamine hit, because, oh my gosh, we're seeking validation on being mid or being below average, or just our self-destructive behavior and patterns. Well, it's because of my past. We all have a story. And I mean, I lived that way for years at an early age in my 20s until like my late 20s. And it was like, life isn't fair. If it was, we'd all have last names of Vanderbilt and Carnegie and Morgan. So it's not. You can do two things. You can use your story to maybe inspire, to motivate. And that's what it usually. That's the way I look at things. I mean, I remember one time back in your neck of the woods, Murfreesboro, I was allowed to speak, and a woman wanted to give me a hug because of my trauma and my story. And it's like, that's not the reason why I use it, because I want you I want to say, yes, I'm just like you. It's the past is just the story. It's not where we live. Who cares, man? I mean, I speak about it freely because, it's ancient history. It's not something I live in every single day, but people love to live in their trauma, love to live in their failures. A failure is just an event. Trauma is just an event. Now, we don't need to carry it like our cross. We're in Lent season. Let Jesus do that. He did that already. Man, we were all created in God's image. So we're created all to be rock stars, to be legends, to be to quote Joel Osteen, victors and not victims.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the aspect of faith because, one of the scriptures that my wife and I stand on a lot is Romans 8:28. For all things work together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And some people miss the, hey, look, I got a phone call. Hold on. No, a lot of people misinterpret that. It didn't say all things are good. It said all things work together for good, bad things, ugly things, traumatic things. If we allow them to be used for good, they can be worked for good. And many of us, when not good happens to us, we see it as some sort of rejection of our life, of our purpose, of our sense of being, of our worth. And the truth of the matter is, nobody gets through life unscathed. We all deal with trauma, different levels. Again, I'm not assigning value or levels to trauma because I think we could get down a slippery slope. But everybody experiences some form of trauma throughout their life. It's just the way it is. And we have that overcoming mentality, the ability to learn from, grow from, overcome trauma really does put people in a forward momentum. And what I've noticed, none of the big names that we all know get up on stage and say, you know what, I had the best life. I was, it was smooth sailing all the way until this stage. And no, they talk about the failures. They talk about the stomach punches. They talk about bankruptcies and all of the things, and yet we expect to go through this life and not have things happen to us. It really is kind of a short-sighted mentality.
Or I mean, put it to you this way, Dave. I mean, we're at the stage now, society, that when someone does bad, whether it's a shooting or they're a murderer or they're a serial killer, let's look at their past. What traumatic event? No, man, that is such a cop out. I mean, we're both, playing the back nine of our lives. I mean, our trauma, most of the trauma that we carry, the story we carry is so old. I mean, if I wanted to blame, my schooling or my past or my history or my upbringing, it's like I'm going to be 53 in July. I've been an adult longer than I've been a
Mm.
child. At what time can I just say own up to it?
Mm. And let's talk about adult trauma for a minute, because there's all these pivotal moments in our lives when the unexpected happens. Maybe it is the IRS showing up on your front door and saying, "Oh, you owe, hundreds of thousands of dollars in back taxes." In my case, you know, my dad died in the span of 10 days, went into the hospital with breathing problems and didn't come out. And those moments are very defining to all of us. In a lot of cases, my dad passed when I was, let's see, 2011. I had just turned 42. And can I tell you, I was in a lot of ways still a very immature 42. And his passing forced me to reevaluate my entire life, where I was going and how I was going. And it really did change me and put me on a trajectory to where I am today. As a result of his passing, I started reading business books. I was like, I've got to skill up because this whole company is on my shoulders. I began to really listen to podcasts and put into practice and try things that I never had before. It was so convenient to sit in the pocket of, well, I'm the owner's son and I can, do these things that I already know how to do. But when that safety net was removed, it was one of those moments. It's like, okay, I got to grieve, but I also got to work. I've got to, deal with the loss, but I also I have all these families counting on me to keep this business afloat. So trauma as an adult actually becomes defining moments for our lives.
Well, it's that sink or swim. And we feel like we are the center of our universe. So are we going to show everybody an amazing story, or are we going to show everybody a horror story? Everybody has loss as an adult. The older you get, the more people, the more family members, the more
You
friends,
start reading
the
the
more
obituaries first in the paper.
exactly. I wake up every day making sure I'm still breathing, and
Yeah.
and then I thank God that I'm still alive. But yeah, everybody, you know, this fear, there's always loss, yeah, divorce, death in a relationship,
Mm.
your business having to liquidate, having to come scale back, sometimes having to scale up. But you have to take that moment and you have to decide, because no one here is going to save you. God gave you all the tools. Jesus Christ gave you all the tools. The thing is, everybody loves to, this is the reason why, you could have been in pure pity, a victim mode. Oh, my dad died. There's because I know people like this. Oh, well, that there's the proof that there's no heaven. There's the proof that there's no God. And it's like, holy smokes, if that's the case, we'd probably have like 1 trillion people still walking around. It's just a part of life. It's like the Lion King, the circle of life, man. But yes, we've all been there. We've all gotten that knee jerk reaction. 11 days, 12 days, 2 weeks before that event, your father was fine.
Yeah.
Right now there's somebody not expecting that the knock on the door from the mailman handing and expecting the signature saying you owe 100,000, 200,000 to the IRS. Someone's on the verge of getting served those divorce papers. Someone's on the verge of having the bank say no. We've given you enough credit towards your bank. No, they're on the verge of losing their mortgage, of being evicted. But you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Are you going to rise? Because traumatic experiences like this, the way I look at it is, yes, it's a defining moment, but it's a gift. It's a gift from the universe, from God, from someone to say, now are you going to level up? You've been playing safe for so long. Are you going to overcome this obstacle? Because these are all just obstacles. These are all things that people have overcome for way before you, with lesser cards, with life being even more of a burden to them. So quit playing pity party, man. We have tools right now. We have the internet. We have Chat GPT. We have AI. We have so many things that 30, 20 years ago, man, we were stuck because we didn't have it. But yet all our results are the same. Divorce rates the same. Bankruptcy's the same. Uh, Businesses closing. You would think with the amount of tools to market yourself, your store, free too. But instead we're too busy here. We're trying to do caricatures of ourselves because it gives us an out. Because oh my gosh, doing the work, man, that sucks. That's so uncomfortable.
I love how you put that. These defining moments. I see it as decision moments, right? It's just like, okay, this has happened, whether it's my own fault or an outside force that I couldn't control. In that moment, I can make a decision. Am I going to move forward? Am I going to pivot? Am I going to skill up? I think about the people you know, and you've seen it, Omar. You know, back in the early 2000s, Walmart had greeters, and the greeters were old people that would, retirees. They would smile, they would give the kids the happy face sticker, etc. But the story behind every one of those greeters was somebody who needed to go back to work for whatever reason. And a lot of times it was because they either had no retirement or the retirement was running out and they had to make ends meet. And can you imagine if those people had just said, you know what, it must be my time. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. It's not, God's against me, whatever. But they made a decision. They made a decision to go back to work. And so many of us lack the intestinal fortitude to make the decision to go to work. Is it fun? No. Do you want to go back to, and you don't go back to square one, but you don't want to go back to even square five, to start a new journey because you've been on this other journey for 20 something, 30 something years. But sometimes you just have to do that. And it's not your fault, but it is now your responsibility to pivot.
Well, exactly. Life isn't fair, man. You don't get to decide when there's adversity, at what level of adversity. It's not like these Walmart greeters, people at McDonald's, people at Disney World, life, God, or whatever said, "Hey, you know what? You're an amazing person. You're a great person. You went to church service. You helped out your community. We'll put you, instead of starting out at square one, we'll put you somewhere in the middle." That's not how life works, man. It was, but so that's why you have to literally apply people like that, and not everybody there is there because they're on the verge of eating cat food. Sometimes people are just bored.
Yeah, true, true. I don't want to diminish the effect of trauma because there are some really, 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 really bad things that happen,
Oh, for sure.
but at the same time, the same decision applies. It may be a little bit harder or a lot harder to make, but the same decision applies. Is it going to be a stumbling block or a stepping stone? Is it going to trip me up to the place where, all I do is end up in the fetal position somewhere? Or is it going to be the thing that says, you know what, I've got to step things up? And let me be very clear, especially to those of you watching live. You can still have a moment of pity party. You can still feel the feels, experience the grief, experience the hurt. You can end up in a fetal position. I'm just saying, don't stay there permanently.
Oh, man, there's a mourning period. At 24, 48 hours, that's fine, man. But what happens is people create create the story that this is now their reality. This
Mm.
is this is who they are. They don't see themselves as the David anymore. They don't see themselves as the hero in the story. They see themselves as weak, as meek, as hopeless. I
Mm.
mean, we love an amazing. Everybody loves watching the story of someone overcoming adversity. I mean, just look at the Olympics.
Mm.
We're still celebrating beating Canada because the last time we won the gold in hockey was 1980, which I remember the Miracle on Ice. That we're both old enough to remember
Yeah.
that. Put it to you this way: if we had the same results as Canada, would we still be celebrating it? Would it be such an accomplishment?
Mm.
No. But we're the David. That's why we love watching Rocky. Oh my gosh, the Joe Palooka, the average everyday guy to becoming Rocky won. Just a guy like that, just to go the distance
Yeah. He
with
lost.
heavy. And he lost. People don't remember that.
He
He
didn't win till
lost.
Rocky 2.
Yes. But just that's if they would have never made Rocky 2, 3, 4. The thing is, oh my gosh, he went the distance with the world champion. Everything that has that story, the Karate Kid, Star Wars. It's like, oh my gosh. Well, you can be your own damn hero in your story, man. You don't need the Death Star. You don't need Cobra Kai Dojo. You don't need to win the All Valley State Karate Championship. We go to the everybody loves these movies and they attend. It's because they want something like that. They don't understand, they can create their own happy ending.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why they love the gurus, because the gurus are two things. Guru will tell you, man, you're just like me. And then they tell their life story of everything they overcame. That you could be there for sales, or you could be there for how to live longer or how to lose weight. And they'll go from, the boy meets girl, the part A, all the way through to the end. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's such an amazing story. This guy, let's put him on a pedestal. Holy smokes. Maybe if I'm like 1% of this guy, I too can be like him. No, you can't be like him, but you can be the very best version of yourself.
Yes. And you don't want their story, you want your story.
Exactly. So many copycats though, right? Like
I know.
Kool-Aid, man. Nobody wants the best. God didn't create all of us to be the copycats of someone else. That person's already taken. God created you to be the very best version of you, Dave, and me, Omar, and you, the listener.
And as you are seeing your story unfold, there is going to be adversity. There has been adversity. Degrees of adversity vary based upon the person. Not every story is the same, nor should it be. But if you want your final chapter to be the victorious chapter, you have to decide that the adverse chapters matter, but they don't hinder.
No, they matter because life would be boring too, Dave, if there was no adversity, if there was no gut check moment, if you weren't punched in the gut, if you weren't thrown down. No, imagine going to the movies and just, the hero is just mid, no adversity, gets his goal, happily ever after. Danny LaRusso moves from New Jersey to Southern Cal. He befriends everybody. Everybody thinks he's an amazing guy. He's with Ollie with an I still.
Boring movie.
And he decides, hey, I'm just going to do, I did karate at the Y. Let me show everybody I'm a decent karate guy. He joins the tournament. He's self-taught.
He and Johnny Lawrence are best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wait, that's this show.
Yeah, there's no father-son dynamics like Mr. Miyagi and him. It's just, everything's just there. And it's boring. Life, but everybody wants Easy Street, man. Everybody wants the abs. Everybody wants the Lambo. Nobody wants to go through the journey. Nobody wants to have to go through the fire in order to come out way better. And adversity makes everybody it's so much better. Even everybody that we look up to, whether it's a football coach, I mean, every legend out there, even Nick Saban had to start by losing a runaway. There was always doubt. I mean, there's this renaissance that Nick Saban, man, at LSU, the first year, we were like, what the heck? We hired this guy, yes, we had a winning season, but we lost a runaway. He lost a runaway the first year at Bama.
Yeah, he lost to Monroe his first year at Bama.
Louisiana Monroe. Yeah, and Les Miles was making fun of it. Everybody, because there's always adversity. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ohio State, Coach Day, everybody wanted to run the guy out of town, and he wins a natty, and then he comes close to replicate, going back to back. But everybody has a short-term memory, because when we put somebody up on a pedestal, we don't remember when they're down. We just remember when they're up.
Come on now. So at the end of the day, folks, you have to understand the storms come, adversity comes, and it's part of your story. And so therefore, when they come, try to get the right mindset, the right perspective, and to feel the feels, experience the hurt, have the grief, but don't let it define your future as a stumbling block. Begin to let it define your future as a stepping stone, because like Omar was talking about, and Omar, I think you and I have talked about this before. When they're standing on the platform at the end of the Super Bowl, it is the same speech from every team that's up there. They're like, we overcame so much adversity this season to win this championship. And that's how champions are made, is by overcoming adversity.
Exactly. Even perfection had always there's flaws. Like everybody. I mean, heck, Joe Burrow, 2019. Everybody loves talking about it. 2018. I mean, he had to go transfer out of Ohio State to LSU, and he had his rough moments. We all have our rough moments. You have to remember, everything though is temporary. And if you are at rock bottom, you can't be grasping at, well, 2 years ago and relive your past. We can't relive our glory days. Everything is temporary. If you right now are crushing it and winning it, be even keel, because it's temporary. The bad, the good, the ugly, enjoy, release. Where the bad, the hurt, take it in, release it, and then say, hey, all I need to do now is win today. And how does winning today look like? Don't say, well, 10 years ago, I was crushing it. No, that's the past. This version, this story, this chapter, what are you going to do to win right now? To win just today, short term.
I don't have anything to add to that, Omar. That was the perfect way to bring this all home. Folks, those of you who are on live, those of you who are on the podcast, whoever you are, follow both of us on social media. Begin to engage with us. Go to elevatesuccesspath.com and see what we have to offer. We want to help you navigate this thing called life from a entrepreneur's and small business owner's perspective, but it also from the perspective of people who have experienced what you're experiencing. We have been there. We are there. We're working with you each and every day, just as we're working on ourselves. We're not better than you. We're just in the fight with you. So, Omar, thanks again for today. Look forward to jumping on. It's going to be 2 weeks before we can get back on. I have a real estate orientation I got to do next week. But
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes, it does. All right, guys, thank y'all so much. I hope everybody has a blessed day and a blessed rest of their week. God bless. That is going to do it for this episode of Keep This in Mind. For more, visit davidaspecht.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and remember, applied knowledge is power. God bless.